Now, ever since April 14th, when the spaceflight took place for Blue Origin that actually had those like Katy Perry on board, Gayle King, Jeff Bezos' fiance, and among others, we have seen never-ending backlash, and for valid reasons, by the way, behind it all, and everything else going on with Katy Perry hopping on the damage control train day after day that has been working to no avail, by the way, and it's only making matters worse. Now, if you thought that the previous damage control that Katy Perry went on was bad, well, this is just about to get even worse. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Katy Perry right now is that we know that she is already trying to embrace the backlash, not just on social media, but also across the entirety of mainstream media that's been mocking her. We know that there's a lot of things going on between Katy Perry and Blue Origin and the overall pushback from the general public. This is going to be a never-ending cycle as long as Katy Perry keeps doubling down by really just trying to water down the backlash, which is only making it worse, I must add. And with her Lifetimes tour also happening in the midst of all this, and how she's going to be incorporating the spaceflight into her overall concerts that are set to actually debut in the coming weeks that will incorporate, exclusive, never before seen footage of the flight and her training, so to speak, quote unquote, and how she will be revealing unrevealed stories about the flight in between songs. That's another thing. However, this is where it really begins to pick up, and it really begins to show you exactly how unhinged and how out of touch with reality Katy Perry is. And, well, let's just get into this. Now, with the Katy Perry backlash only growing, especially after she got herself involved in damage control on social media, one massive development that is going on now involves more to do with Katy Perry and her recent unhinged behavior to go against the critics, where she said the worst thing possible. Now, Perry delivered the following. Living in America, I can say only one thing right now, that there are so many unhealed citizens that strictly rely on social media, and we are beginning to live in an age where everyone is beginning to lose a sense of reality. When I partnered with Blue Origin to take part in their spaceflight, I knew it would change my mind forever, but I just didn't know how it would change it. And now I see, after coming back down to Earth, that if you do one courageous act for all women, and for everybody, that you are ridiculed and made a mockery of. And this is something that I won't stand for. We need to seriously heal American citizens, because there are just way too many uneducated people in this country that love to give in to any opportunity to become a critic. We need more healing for not just America, but also for many other parts in the world that question women's ability to make history and to do the unthinkable. I can only hope that both women and men are going to become more serious and have a more serious mindset when questioning something that I did. What I did was a very real experience. When you have doubters out there, you begin to wonder to yourself, where is that motive coming from? What are their lives like? They need to take life more seriously, and they need to stop focusing on themselves as a loud vocal minority of doubters that question the adventure that we took up to space. Gayle was a great supporter of mine when we were training just as hard as astronauts did, because it's not just physical training, you also have mental training on how to handle the effects of space. I can proudly say I am one of the very few American citizens that got to experience the very thing that astronauts deal with on a daily basis. So guys, let me just stop here for one moment. Two things. The fact that she is comparing herself again to an astronaut is the very reason why she's getting a lot of backlash, and she doesn't really seem to realize that in and of itself is a very big contributor to why she's getting so much pushback. And she's still doubling down on that narrative that what she experienced, 62 miles up in the atmosphere, really was nothing near close to what astronauts deal with all the time. She barely reached space. She was really just in the edge of space. And let's be real about this. The other thing is this, the fact that she goes on to say, about American citizens and how so many of them are unhealed. This is just the same old word salad that Katy Perry keeps spewing over and over again, and it's really just not working well in her favor at all. If anything, it's only elongating the backlash. The greatest thing that she could do right now is stay silent and to really just zip it immediately and just kind of do whatever she could to get past this backlash, and she's not doing that. She's only making it worse. So this is where it begins to get quite hilarious. Now, she goes on to go on further, but for those, she says, out there to question the authenticity of the flight is appalling. It is just mind-boggling that people would question the authenticity of something like that. I know what I did, and Gayle knows what she did. We were all in the very same capsule, tens of miles up in the atmosphere. Whatever she meant there is just weird. It was both frightening, beautiful, and life-changing, and in those brief moments, I understood all the wrongs in society right now. Social media is to blame for the toxicity that's been spreading throughout the country, and we need to stop ridiculing women for doing some of the most brave things out there that not everyone has the chance to do. I think there is an obvious case of misogyny going on, and that needs to be thoroughly investigated, and why our country is plagued by this terrible way of thinking. To have the chance to do what all astronauts have done over the decades, something I will value for the rest of my life. So again, we have Katy Perry there, obviously becoming unhinged, and blaming quote-unquote American citizens as unhealed is another example of exactly what's been going on here, and everything what's been going on with Blue Origin getting so much pushback, and this is exactly why. The fact that they choose or allow these entitled celebrities to become a part of their image, to become a part of their space flights, quote-unquote, I think is also, a reason for us to blame Blue Origin as well. Jeff Bezos, everyone else on board. We know that Katy Perry was a big part of the overall reason why a lot of people are just fed up. A lot of people are tired of their nonsense. And look, the fact that she also puts it in your face that I'm one of the very few American citizens that got this chance to go up into space, which really was just the edge of space. It was nowhere near what regular astronauts do all the time. But let's be honest here, she's kind of putting it in your face now that she was one of the very few American citizens to take part in this Blue Origin space flight, something that the average hardworking American will never get the chance to do, period, the end. If they really wanted to, they would have to really take a large chunk, even those high up, a large chunk out of their savings to even do something like this. And so, for her to really kind of just double down on that, it goes to show you how she just doesn't care about putting herself on a pedestal as if she, is so important because she has this status, this wealth, and this ability to go up into the edge of space, let's be very specific, via Blue Origin. So again, I would love to hear what everyone has to say about the whole unhealed nonsense and how there's a lot of unhealed citizens, according to her, in this country, in the, United States. I think she's really just making things worse. And this is only going to contribute to further ticket sale issues with the Lifetimes tour. And does that not seem familiar? The Eras tour. I think that she's obviously copying some performers out there. But again, like I've said before, this is only going to elongate the process of the backlash. But overall, I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.